I love it. And what, why family law and specifically divorce law?
Okay. So my background, I came to family law as a part of my ministry, believe it or not. I had been a stay-at-home mom for many years, and in that time, what extra time I had, I did a lot of work with lower income families, PTA kind of work, and then I literally kind of fell into working with women in transition. Um, I did prison ministry for women inside women's institutions for over 20 years now. Um, and the women, bless them, they would get out of prison and they would want to try to get their children back, or they would want to just know where they were. They would have hard times getting jobs. And so I started working with the women just in terms of helping them to move forward. And this work with women in transition, then I started going to court with them when they were trying to see their kids. And not as an attorney, although I had been an attorney since 1993 or 96 when I passed the bar. I was just going as a support person. Eventually, my children went to college. I'm sitting home, kind of twiddling my thumbs, going, now what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And a friend of mine said, "Hey, why don't you think about practicing again?" And I had been a corporate securities attorney, so
I was hoping that you'd mention that because like how you came from like corporate
yeah.
to family.
Right. So, I mean, Elsa, I don't have to tell you, especially back in the early 90s, as a corporate securities attorney, I I guess it was in early 2000s too. I I worked in DC. I was at a large firm. It was the suits, it was the heels, and it was um, even though I was part time, I still worked 50 hours a week part time. Paid off all my student loans. It was wonderful, right? Worked for 5 years and could
Yeah.
retire. A blessing. Um, so my idea of law was more collegial in terms of, I'm drafting prospectuses. I'm talking to the SEC. We're on the same team.
Right.
And then to get into litigation, it needed to be done because what I found was that there were people who needed help. There were women who needed help. And they didn't have the money, they thought, to hire the lawyers. They would hear the retainer amount and then they would just go into despair.